What is anger? It's a pretty big question.
Something really passionate.
We are America. We are the majority. Not those scum over there.
Anger is something you feel when you have negative, strong emotions about something.
Experts say cross-burnings, vandalism, even murder are on the rise.
Typically, anger is linked with aggressive behavior.
Anger is an emotion where people really can't express in words. They have to express, I think, in actions.
It's called shopping rage, and sometimes shoppers take it out on each other.
Violence is the result of anger and aggression.
Police say a masked gunman stormed a
From
middle
Colorado
school
to
this morning.
Arkansas
They
to
say he
Pennsylvania,
wounded several
kids
people.
killing classmates and teachers.
A deadly shooting that forced administrators to close schools last week.
It's important to know that we can feel angry without being aggressive. We don't have to have those two be together.
Anger is an emotion, just like happiness or sadness, but it's a pretty strong emotion and can often sometimes lead to behavior that can get kids into trouble, and adults too.
And it's a natural sort of adaptive response to stress or when people feel threatened. And there's an evolutionary basis for it. Everyone experiences it, and it's necessary for survival.
Anger is an emotional state that originates biologically in the brain. And it varies in intensity from mild irritation, let's call that a 1, up to full-blown rage, which would be a 10.
Anger can range from sort of mild irritation about things, waiting online too long at the grocery store, to being really, really angry or rageful when somebody does something that you find inappropriate or you get very upset at something.
For me, anger is kind of just this feeling, like I sort of kind of black out, sort of when I get really angry, and it feels kind of like it's weird, it's like I'm bubbling up from the inside and I have to move, and I can't stay in one place, and I just have to get somewhere and do something.
It is common to have physiological reactions to anger, effects like increased heart rate, muscle tension, sweating, feeling flushed in the face, and shaking and trembling, to name a few. These types of physical sensations serve as our body's natural response.
It's not unlike what happens when someone sees a dangerous animal. It's about survival. We either have to kill that animal or we have to get the heck out of there. It's called fight or flight. And what happens in the brain is that a chemical called adrenaline is released and prepares us for fight or flight. Since it is originated in the brain, there's a particular place where it lights up, and it shows up in the area which we'll call the primitive brain. If we respond to the anger functioning out of the primitive brain, we want to punish, hurt, get back at, teach a lesson, somehow do something destructive.
A lot of people they're violent when they're angry.
Anger is what creates violence, and violence is what happens when your anger takes over.
Extreme forms of aggression can lead to a lot of trouble. So fighting could get you into jail, or other types of extreme forms of anger or aggression can get you into trouble.
A good friend of mine is currently in prison for 25 to life because he lost control of his anger and stabbed someone to death. I realized that obviously he's going to be in jail for a very, very long time, if not for the rest of his life. And that kind of gave me a whole new perspective on things, because I don't think I really understood what it would be like to just not die, but be completely cut off from everything.
When you think about controlling your anger, it actually is probably more about controlling your behavior, because the emotion of anger by itself doesn't really do anything to anybody else because it's something that you feel within. But the behavior, whether that's being aggressive or walking away, that's what you want to be able to control, is the behavior that's linked to the feeling.
I definitely think that teens are more angry than other people.
Definitely. I think teens have a lot more anger than other people because I think when you're a teenager, you are starting to define yourself as a person.
I think maybe it's more challenging for teenagers who are going through a lot of changes developmentally in their stage of development. So cognitively, physically, emotionally, socially, and they have hormonal changes and other things going on. So, and they also have less life experience in dealing with their emotions, identifying their emotions, and knowing how to respond to their emotions.
And we're just in between that stage where you're not a child and you're not an adult, so you're in that shady gray area where you don't know what to do and what you can do and what you like to do, but you're not allowed.
My dad is always talking about how hard things were in his day, but now that it's my day, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. But the thing is, I think the parents are a lot of the time one of the main causes of stress.
Certainly, in general, teens have a lot of stuff going on. Their body might be changing, they have more responsibility, but by the same token, their parents aren't giving them all the freedom that they want. They might start dealing with romantic relationships. So there's a lot going on with teens, and there are a lot of opportunities to feel misunderstood or isolated or taken advantage of by other people. So that might contribute to feeling more angry.
Beyond the many social pressures, there are a number of other factors that can enhance angry feelings. Stress, fatigue, anxiety, hunger, sickness, and drugs, including alcohol. And while these factors may enhance your anger, what provokes you, what pushes your buttons, are called triggers.
It's very helpful to know what triggers our anger. And so we need to identify what kinds of things tend to make us angry.
Everyone's going to have different triggers, and they're often just things in the environment or people, situations that can become stressful.
The main trigger is when people lie to me or about me.
I like to be in control, and when things aren't in my control, I get angry.
I hate being wrongly accused. I hate gossiping.
People who treat me like a criminal.
Lies.
People who don't understand me.
Idiots. Cheating.
Fake people. Men abusing women.
Brother.
People
Parents.
who do not flush in public bathrooms.
Politics.
Things like not feeling understood, feeling lonely perhaps, feeling pressured into a situation or taken advantage of.
Love you. We understand that college is important, but this is our last chance to hang out together. We want to hang out with you.
We're not using you for your car, okay? We want you to have a break.
Sometimes people feel angry because they feel threatened in some way, or their ego may feel bruised, or their pride may be hurt.
Yeah, I was thinking about joining the junior varsity team.
A good one. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Why?
Yes,
Why?
I am.
Why? You're so little.
But I'm good. I'm good at football.
If someone is cheating on a test, we might feel really, really angry about that.
I can't believe you cheated off my test.
Well, what was I supposed to do? Just fail the test again?
I guess so. You're the obvious one who
You did
something.
just as much as me. You got us caught.
Dude, how did I get you caught? Because I said that you're cheating
stop
off
cheating
my
on my test.
Part of me just refuses to back down.
Well, if you didn't know the answers, I wouldn't have looked off your paper.
The thing is, usually when that type of thing happens, I'm not really thinking in my head, what am I feeling right now? I'm just like, I lose it.
It's not always easy to know your triggers because sometimes they're hidden or sometimes they are connected to things that are painful that you might not want to let out in the open. So for some people it could be easy to find their triggers, and for others it can be hard and they might need help in order to do that.
The more aware we are of why we have the reactions that we do, the more control that we have.
Anger is an emotion or a feeling that you have, But what you choose to do with that anger leads to different behaviors.
No! I need to go home. I need to do my college applications. You can find your own ride. I'm not going to be...
The way we behave when we are angry comes from two different sources. The behavior we observe in our environment, like friends and family, and our genetic temperament.
And some people just have a little bit more, energy and adrenaline and angry kind of sensations running through them, even from early on. And then it can be also other environmental factors. If you grow up in a household where people yell a lot or even hit or slam doors, you're going to learn those behaviors.
I can't! No!
Some people might feel really angry, and that leads them to act aggressively. So they might lash out with mean words, or they might hit or fight with somebody. Someone else could feel just as angry, but they decide to keep that emotion inside, and they won't say anything or do anything, but that doesn't mean that they're not feeling the same emotion.
I cry.
Silent.
Pray.
I lie. I hit things.
I isolate myself.
I get even.
People express anger in different ways. There's actually 3 major ways that people express anger, and they usually learn this in their family growing up. One way is to stuff it. Now, there's some problems with that. First of all, when we stuff our anger over and over and over, it can begin to build up. And when it gets to a certain point, it can erupt like a volcano.
Because if you hold down your emotions and you're just like, I'm just angry and I'm internally angry, I'm not going to tell anyone why, then eventually you're just going to burst.
There's some biological problems with that too. When we stuff our anger, what research has showed is that we're more likely to get heart disease and even cancer. So it affects our immune system, and stuffing anger in the long run is not necessarily a good idea.
And also just emotionally, if you always hold your anger in and not show it, then you're not able to kind of solve the problems that might be causing you to feel anger, and that could feel very frustrating over time.
A second way that people tend to express anger is by venting, just spewing their anger out, and they must express their anger. Let's say that you're walking down the street and someone yells, "Look at that geek."
Would you spend the whole period in the library or something?
And you get furious.
We don't like you.
And you get in their face and start yelling and screaming.
Shut up!
If somebody's observing that, all they can see is your anger. They forgot about the fact that, somebody just insulted you. And so you really lose power when you react in such a way. The third way is to manage your anger in an effective, healthy way.
A healthier way of dealing with that would be to sort of get your needs met by asserting yourself and either confronting directly, who the person is or the thing is that's threatening you in a calm and controlled way.
I can probably get on the team. If you guys don't want to believe in me, then that's your problem, all right? I'm a football player at heart. And if you have a problem with it, then deal with it. But I don't care. I'm going to try for the team, and I'm going to make it, all right?
Good communication skills are a very important part of good anger management. So we really need to learn to express with words about our anger and about what we need to be okay.
Most important thing to remember about anger is that it's something that you can control and you can use to your advantage. So in order to do that, you have to figure out what are the steps to take to help you use your anger in a way that's going to be beneficial for you.
There are many steps to help you manage your anger. One is by using the simple acronym C.A.G.E, where the first step, C, is calm, as in calming yourself down.
I think that's a great first step, to calm yourself down. Just taking a minute to step back and appraise the situation and really understand first what happened before reacting.
If you're in that angry state, it's much harder to kind of think clearly and to make decisions that are going to help you. So you want to figure out a way to calm yourself down. And some simple things like deep breathing can help you to calm down, thinking peaceful thoughts or things that make you happy, or even saying things to yourself like, it's okay, I need to calm down, I don't want to let this get to me.
The next step is A, assess the situation.
I think assessing the situation is extremely important after you've taken a minute to calm down a little bit, to kind of note what did just really happen there. Did someone do something to me on purpose? Was it an accident? Was it something that I maybe did or said?
That relates to what is the trigger. So what caused me in this situation to feel angry? Was it because I felt my feelings were hurt? Is it because that I'm lonely or somebody misunderstood me or took advantage of me? It could be a range of things. So you want to assess what it is and then acknowledge that it's okay for me to feel angry because this person was mean to me or my parents don't understand.
G is for gauge. Gauge all of your possible options for the situation.
So for the next step in dealing with your anger, you want to gauge the different alternatives in terms of what you can do about it. So it's really helpful to kind of come up with as many possibilities as you can in terms of what you can do.
If I did this, if I punched that kid, what would happen next? Oh, I might get in trouble, he might get hurt, I might get hurt, that kind of thing. Or if I walked away, what would happen? Oh, people might laugh at me if I walked away and if I didn't defend or stand up for myself. But no one would get hurt, and really, what do I care whether they laugh at me or not?
But you just want to think about all the possible things that you can do and then gauge each one to figure out, is this something that's possible? Is it going to get me in trouble? Is it going to help the situation?
Different things are going to work in different situations. So you want to kind of try and predict and look forward into the future.
E is for empowerment. You have the power to control the outcome of the situation.
I think that if you've gone through your different options and you've gauged which one is the best and you feel pretty comfortable that it's a good idea to let the other person know how you're feeling, then it's okay to go ahead and say how you're feeling and see how that person responds. You might surprise them by being able to talk about what you're feeling as opposed to acting it out aggressively or just walking away.
Sometimes the best form of empowerment is to simply walk away and exit the situation.
There's certainly situations where exiting might be your best bet. For example, if you notice that the person that you're angry with, they haven't learned the skills to cage their anger, and they're getting, increasingly more agitated and angry and maybe aggressive, then your best bet might be just to leave, because you might not be able to come up with a solution with that person at that moment that's going to work, and you want to make sure that you're safe.
I believe that when we choose to focus on what we need, we minimize the other person's comment or the other person's actions, and we continue to have power over our life.
Don't touch me. You have no right to touch me. Now, if you could just move aside, that would be great. Thanks.
I think it can be very empowering once you've decided how you're going to handle a situation. Sometimes it might be successful and other times it might be unsuccessful, but the more experience that we have doing different things, the more it's going to tell us what works and what doesn't work. And feeling like you've accomplished something is a great feeling, and it's definitely empowering.
It's very, very important when we want to have good anger management skills to take care of our stress, take care of our anxiety, and take care of our bodies.
Even when you're in situations that aren't stressful or threatening in any way, it's important to take some time to yourself during the day.
I play piano or write songs.
I do gymnastics.
I'll draw or I'll dance.
I eat.
Draw. Sing. I hit myself.
I ride a bike.
Play the drums.
I dance.
When I feel like there's no stress or no element of responsibility, then I can just relax. So I guess maybe when I'm with my friends.
Certainly talking to your friends or to adults that you trust when you've had an experience with anger can also help. And sometimes it might, if you can't find that support in terms of your friends or adults, it might help to talk to a counselor at school or a psychologist who could also help you deal with angry feelings.
If it's something that you know you're not handling well, or that it's interfering with your daily functioning, your daily activities, or relationships, or performance at school, then that might be a signal to let you know that maybe you need to get some help.
If you are angry a majority of the time, or people say you seem angry, if you're getting into a lot of trouble, or have a desire to hurt people, you may need to seek extra help.
I think it's just really important to know yourself and how you react and respond to things, and whether you'd like to make some changes in how you react and respond to things, because it's very easy to do so. I mean, there are a lot of tools out there to help you kind of redirect your anger or your feelings to more healthy ways of expressing it.
But it's key to remember that it is not healthy to be angry all the time. We need to remember the consequences. We need to feel good about ourselves and to keep our own power and to keep our own control.